So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. A few hours ago, tragedy struck in Oyo State of Nigeria. A very needless and avoidable tragedy, which has now seen a young, vibrant, healthy 14-year-old child dead. The day started off like any other day. The month of May is the month that high school or secondary school students in Nigeria take their WAEC examinations. The WAEC exam refers to the West African Senior School Certificate Exam. I think other English-speaking West African countries take this exam as well. Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia. Please let us know down in the comment section. So this WAEC examinations is usually taken by students completing senior secondary school as a prerequisite for admissions into the university. 14-year-old Kehinde had gotten ready that early Tuesday morning. Who knows how much of the midnight candle that he might have burned in preparation for the day's paper. So off he went into his father's car for his father to drop him off at school as he usually does. For God knows why, Kehinde's father decided to drive against traffic that very day. I really do not know why, because people who usually engage in this practice, I am not excusing or validating it, I'm just telling you the facts. People who usually engage in this practice of one-way driving or driving against traffic is usually to beat traffic congestion or to avoid very bad roads. But none of the two was happening that day. The roads were as free as wind on a mountaintop. Maybe we can just assume that Mr. Alade, Kehinde's father, was in such a hurry, they were behind time, and he was trying to make it so Kehinde would not miss his examinations. Or was it just their usual practice in that town? But for whatever it was, Kehinde's father drove against traffic. And so as he did, most unfortunately, he ran into men of the state's Road and Traffic Management Agency. And so they tried to stop him. They tried to pull him over. In fact, at some point, they tried barricading him. Perhaps he was thinking of the money that he would lose in both official or unofficial fines, if you know what I mean. Or he was thinking of, oh my God, this is going to generate a long conversation and my son would miss his examinations. For whatever reason, for whatever he was thinking, he refused to stop. He felt like the best thing that he could do at that point was to run away, to take flight. And so he did. Let me show us how exactly that scenario played out.
Good. Comment tu fais là? Come on, little Lord.
Shift for me.
Ah, kò yẹ kó lọ ńbẹ̀ yẹn rárá. Àtúnwò tẹ̀lé. Àtúnwò tẹ̀lé. Wọn ló máa kú sí.
Traffic agencies in Nigeria do not bear arms. They are not authorized by law to carry arms, not even the Federal Road Safety Corps, which are the highest cadre when it comes to road and traffic regulation. So perhaps Mr. Alade didn't anticipate how southwise his actions could have gone. He just felt like if he could just maneuver his way and escape and zoom off, that will be the end of it. But little did he know that these officials were in company of an armed policeman. So after he did what he did and he began zooming off, the policeman immediately released fire on the vehicle, and the bullet pierced through the back, hitting 14-year-old Kende right at the side of his stomach. The child was rushed to the welfare hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival.
We are live at the secretariat now with the cause of the little boy. We are here live. We are here live. Let me see the bullet. This is the bullet.
Given the facts of this case, as I have narrated, people had divided views and reactions. A number of people had nothing but blame for Mr. Alade, the deceased child's father, condemning him for being the cause of his own son's death. They were like, first, he drove against traffic, and they were trying to stop him, and rather than stop, he was driving like a maniac, hitting everything and everyone in view. They were like, we are sorry for the death of your son, but unfortunately, you cannot be absolved of blame or some contribution in his demise. This comment here, for example, said, the father of the child should blame himself for the tragic incident. Though I'm not absolving the police of blame, but had the father not driven one way against traffic, the situation will not have happened. Trendy Shoes and Bags said, how can you drive like this with your child inside the car? May the soul of the boy rest in peace. And this one said, with what I'm seeing, the police officer is just unfortunate. So he called the police officer the victim. The man driving the car messed up big time, and he paid with the life of an innocent child. What will it take you to stop after being barricaded? After all case now settlement. Rest in peace to the little boy. Rest well. There were lots of comments like this that got plenty likes and supports. Even the Oyo State Police Command has released a statement through its spokesperson, and their stance and narrations are just similar to this. Their statement clearly absolved the police officer from all blame or reproach, entirely faulting Mr. Alade for what had happened. Let us get a little peep of what the police said. This is an official police statement. At approximately 7:45 a.m. along the airport roundabout, an enforcement team comprising of OYTMA, that should be Oyo State Traffic Management Agency if I'm not mistaken, OYTMA officers and the personnel of the Oyo State Police Command attempted to stop a black Honda Accord driven by one Odunayo Alade, father of the deceased young male, who was found to be driving against traffic, in brackets one way. Rather than complying with lawful directives, the driver allegedly accelerated towards the enforcement team in an attempt to evade arrest, ramming into two OYTMA vehicles and a police Buffalo patrol truck. In an effort to prevent further damage and harm to officers and other road users, barricades were set up to demobilize the fleeing vehicle. However, the driver reportedly broke through these barricades, continuing to drive recklessly and endangering lives. Given the nature of the driver's conduct, officers suspected possible criminal activity or a case of abduction, as kidnapping. A police chase ensued. In an attempt to immobilize the vehicle, a police corporal discharged a firearm aimed at the tires. Tragically, the bullet missed and struck Kehinde Alade, who was seated in the rear seat behind the driver. The victim was immediately rushed to the University College Hospital, where he was confirmed dead on arrival. The body of the deceased has been deposited at the Adeoyo State Hospital mortuary for autopsy and preservation. The officer responsible for the discharge of the firearm has been taken into custody along with other members of the team. I see what you did there, Mr. Police Officer. Guys, begin to drop your thoughts down in the comment section while I tell you what the law says about circumstances like this. You do not have to drop a legal perspective as an individual. Just drop your honest opinion about what you think about this whole situation. There is no question in the world that Mr. Alabi acted unreasonably without consideration for the safety of his life, the life of the occupants of that vehicle, including that of his child, and even the lives of the public at large. If he had escaped successfully and later apprehended, he could be liable for a lot of criminal offenses, such as reckless driving, endangering lives, obstruction of law enforcement, and maybe fleeing from lawful arrest, evading lawful arrest. These can attract felony level punishment. And you know what? Do you know the sad part about what has happened? Despite his pain, his hurts, his grief, and losing his son, that does not eradicate the offenses that have been committed. It is still possible that he can be apprehended and charged to court for these offenses. It can even be worse. More criminal offenses can even be added, like criminal negligence. But while it is good that we are aware of Mr. Alabi's wrongdoings, the most important question now, considering what has happened and considering that someone has died, a child has died, the paramount question is, was that shooting justified as the police is making it seem? Yes, the police are permitted by law to carry arms and by implication permitted to use them. So they have legal rights to use lethal force, but that right is highly regulated by statutes. According to the Nigerian Police Act and the Police Force Order, police officers are only permitted to use lethal force under certain circumstances. It is not just because you are in possession of a gun that you can fire. First, by virtue of these acts that I have mentioned, the police is allowed to use lethal force to defend themselves and others from imminent threat or danger to life or serious bodily harm. So if the case, for example, is that the police officer or the members of those transport agencies were standing and the car was intentionally speeding towards them to hurt them, there are some people I've seen when I was working at the bank. There's this particular customer of mine that used to work at road safety that he was intentionally rammed into by a driver. He was on patrol, someone was driving and with speed rammed into him, cleared him off the road and kept on going. So if that was the case, there was imminent, pending threat to the person's life or to the lives of others, maybe this car is speeding towards you to harm you, then the police officer has a right to use lethal weapons to avert that. But in this case, the car had escaped. It was not coming towards you. There was no apprehension of danger, not invalidating what the man did. But the car was going the opposite direction. There was no imminence of harm. So was firing that shot a necessity? Was it needed? Secondly, by our law, the police is permitted to use lethal force to prevent a heinous crime. Not all crimes. A heinous crime like murder, robbery, terrorism, even treason. So the police sees masked armed robbers all charged up with firearms and they're driving to a bank to rob, and the police knows that robbers are killers and there's every chance that if they're successful in their operation, lives will be lost, people will be hurt. The police has a legal right to use lethal force to avert that operation. But in this case, was there any heinous crime about to be committed? Evading an already committed traffic offense that has already happened though Is it the same thing as preventing a heinous offense from happening? So what justification did the police have to shoot inside that car? Thirdly, the police can make use of lethal force to stop a suspect who poses grave or immediate danger to others. If you observe in developed countries, even after a robbery and the armed robbers are on the run, you see the policemen just chasing them. They don't just start shooting and killing them. It is only when these robbers start to shoot at the policemen, then these exceptions that I'm telling you now comes to play. The police now has the legal right to return fire. But this was not even a robbery or something of that sort. This was a mere traffic offense. And a traffic violation is not a capital offense. It does not and cannot justify the use of firearms. And this prepared excuse that the policeman could have thought that it was abducting this, and he couldn't aim at the tires, he aimed into the car and said it was a mistake, is not given. Is not selling. Besides, in law, there is a doctrine called the doctrine of proportionality. The police's response is supposed to be proportionate to the threats presented. So the question now is shooting at a moving vehicle in a crowded area where passengers are visible, does it align with this principle of proportionality? As I always say, the way things should be and the way things are, they are two different things. Many of these constables and sergeants and corporals, many of them do not even know the law. Many of them are just secondary school graduates that couldn't further their education, couldn't get a decent job, and the next thing they joined the police, they handed them a rifle. So while it is important that we are abreast of the law, it is even more important to be safe rather than being sorry by being abreast of the peculiar society you find yourself in and the dynamics of your environment. May the young, bright soul of Kehinde Alabi continue to rest in the bosom of the Lord, and may his family find comfort. Please drop your thoughts and your reactions down in the comment section. You do not have to take the legal angle of where I came from. I'm a lawyer, I can see things from the legal angle. What are your thoughts? Do you believe that all the blame should go to Kehinde's dad? Do you believe that he should be charged to court and punished for endangering the life of his son and causing the passing of his son? Or do you believe that that policeman should be held 100% accountable and made to atone for his crimes? Do drop your thoughts down in the comment section. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.